The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
And I was like, yes, hi. I was so excited.
Oh, let me say hi. Let me get hi again.
Okay, hi.
A guy get to a point and he asks you to marry him, he really wants to marry you.
Mm-hmm. He ready.
Like he really feels like, you know what, she's the one. She's the one.
You already getting the goods. You got to pay for it. Bring me the ring and get on one knee.
Okay.
Or two.
You need time to observe someone and really get a sense of how well do they treat you, how well do they handle adversity.
You're not the one because you don't have grit, the perseverance. You ain't really want me because you ready to give up. Because I said no, you shouldn't have asked. But since I said no, now it's your job to stay in the game and try to fight for it.
Boy, on 5 Heartbeats, when you make the announcement you're going solo at the awards ceremony.
What up, and happy When I Shut Day. Welcome to the podcast about many topics from the perspective of 3 married couples. You can listen to us on DefyLifePods.com, iTunes, Spotify, and any of the other popular podcast platforms out there. Hello, good people. Hello. Welcome back. Another great day. I started to go into my it's Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, all of that. But I can't say that today because we are stepping outside of our norm a little bit, and this is not Wednesday. But it's all good. I am grateful for being able to start this day out with the wonderful team of One Eye Shut. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I'm like, what happened? I'm missing a voice. I look up, I realize it's my husband, and then he says, morning. Hi.
What'd you say, Al? You on mute.
Al, I'm ready.
Look, the energy's gonna come. That's all I was gonna say. It's coming.
It's coming. Some things will remain the same, right? 30 seconds in, and we Allen.
Yes.
But it's all right though. And in that, we're going to go ahead and start with you, Al. While we have your full attention and you got your head over your mute button, ready to go. So let's go ahead and start with you on this lovely morning. How you doing? What's your word for today?
My word of the day is restore. Just because from last week to this week, a lot of good things have happened to restore energy and clarity in my life. So it was just a nice, good week. Went up to Pawleys Island to celebrate the graduation of one of our nieces, Ella, graduating from Coastal Carolina with a master's in teaching. Shout out to Ella. And
big up, Ella.
Yes. Pulled the grill, Big Poppy, from Atlanta all the way to Myrtle Beach, 6-hour trip. And the grill handled it and was able to cook out and do the thing and remind folk how we do on the grill. It's nice to hear how other people describe the skills, because apparently I'm Glimpse certified when it comes to the grilling, because I woke up Saturday morning and as they were trying to as Ella's mom, Renee, was giving the story of why, trust me, this man can grill. She was really talking about my family. She was like, you don't understand. He come from a grilling family. Like, you should see his family. They all can grill. They get it in. And then she started talking about the chitlin strut. And it was pretty impressive to just hear them describe the way I was trained.
She know the resume.
She know the resume, and it was also interesting to hear people who actually knew about the chitlin strut. Like that was interesting too. Like to be around a group that you go to the chitlin strut and have like a 30-minute conversation about the chitlin strut. So shout out to all those who know what the chitlin strut is in Sally, South Carolina. Big ups to the chitlin strut. And so then from that weekend, we quickly transferred into, because we came home and a couple of hours later, we was on a flight to Fort Lauderdale and went down there to spend 3 or 4 days on the beach and the pool side and hang out with my big brother and my Aftergate co-host, Mr. Dubois, he was around. So definitely come back to Atlanta and this space restored and just feeling good. And I told y'all my energy's coming back, so I'm ready. Let's get it. What's up, co-host? This is your boy, A. L. What up?
Yeah. He's like a whole commercial and experience within itself, right? Thanks, Al. Yes, the energy is definitely. I heard it rising as you were talking, and I think you might be all the way there. If not, probably about 98%. So thank you for sharing with us. And of course, some of my share has to do with that, but I'll come back and round it off. All right. Today we're going to go to the right. I feel like we've been pulling to the left a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and swing to the other glimpse. Good morning, Ladine and JR. How y'all doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody? It's good to be in the house of the Lord one more time.
Amen and amen.
Right.
All right, Ladine. Ladies first. See, JR, that's when you were supposed to come in real quick, with the ladies first, a little music, just a little something.
Ladies first.
Thank you, Ladine. That's what I'm talking about. She got my back.
Saturday morning. I'm slowing my trigger finger.
All right, Ladine, talk to us.
Let's see. I feel okay. So good morning, everyone. I think today is going to be a great day. We're going to have a pretty busy day. We got a lot happening today. So I'm going to go with chaos. Everything's been a little chaotic around this place lately, it feels like. Between work, moving, just like the consistency of the moving. And I feel like we've just been moving and shaking for a while. So it feels good to relax, not be traveling, doing things, but still stuff is still a little chaotic around this place. So I got to get it together. Getting it together slowly but surely, drinking this lovely tea this morning. Yeah, I got to try this tea. It's a mango pineapple tea. And I was like, no, I can't. I don't know if that's going to be good hot. But yeah, it is popping. Let's see. Other than that, that's about all I got. I'm ready for this beautiful day. My son's got a jamboree today, and I gotta go school shopping. That's really where the chaos is gonna lie, because they start school in 10 days. I'm always ahead of the game. This year I wasn't ahead of the game, so I gotta get ready, and I'm not ready. That's how it's going down.
Says I'm listening to you talking. Like, I know you're gonna get my nephew straight. But I can't help but to think, oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to do that bullshit no more.
God. Help us all.
May the force be with you today, Ladine.
Yes, thank you.
JR, you going clothes and school shopping with Ladine today?
In spirit and online.
Oh.
And him.
I keep telling her about this wonderful thing called the internet, but she don't like it.
I was already saying, you know what? Why is your response, I can't stand him, instead of joining him? I'm just curious. Just asking
because I like to go to the stores to shop. Okay, I love to be able to feel the clothing. Like, I want to feel the material. I want to see how long is it going to do good in the wash. Is it going to last? Like, there are certain brands that I always get because they hold up well. They hold up well after being washed, dried, whether it's washed, hung, ironed, whatever. So because they're boys, they stain a lot. Like, it's a process. So I don't think, and online shopping for me, I can do it. Right. But if you don't like it, you got to send it back. It's annoying. I like being able to go into the stores, see what fits them, what doesn't fit them. I like the stores. I don't necessarily like the people and the environment and that whole thing, the chaos that comes with that. But I like being able to touch and feel the fabrics of the clothing. Yeah, it's a big deal for me. Is this kid going to be sweating in this? Is it polyester? Is it cotton? Like, I do all of that. It's not just, oh, that's cute, I want it. No, I be up in it. Abuelita taught me. I don't know what to tell you, okay?
And then there's that. All right,
Well,
JR.
yeah, well, I've already done my shopping for them for the only brand that I give a shit about, and that's their Defy Life gear. So I'm good. My word for the day would be I'm anxious, kind of like again, and it's Saturday morning, but I've really been up since 5, like anticipating today. Like Leigh mentioned, Lincoln has a jamboree today, so it's kind of been 2 years in the making. We didn't have a season last year because of COVID, so it's really his second year, and he's comfortable in growing into himself and his role, and it's great to see him make brothers and make relationships and gain brothers on his team, and excited for that today, and that'll go down, and then Ladine has a second interview for his first job today. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
The kid's been scouring the city trying to find somebody that will hire him at 14. And he found somebody. So Publix, if you know what you're doing, you better hire my kid. So he's got his second interview today for that.
Nice. Go get him, Ladanian.
Yeah. So I'm proud of him. He did it completely on his own. And he's been looking forward to this for how long? He's been talking about this for over a year now. So, again, getting the kids ready for school. And I'm on the way home from practice last night, and my tire pressure light comes on my truck last night. So I got to go get that done when we get off the show. So yeah. So this is a full day, and I got check-in calls with a few podcasters from the network today. So this is a full day. But I'm excited about it. I guess this is the Tommy Glimp in me, where it was a full day, and I just get excited about doing shit today. So this don't happen often. So I'm anxious.
Nice. All right, well, Ladanian, we are sending you with lots of positive energy. We know you got this, and congrats on your initiation and your leadership and your desire to have your own money. That's big stuff. You don't hear a lot of teenagers talk about that, but clearly he has that desire, and I'm happy for him. Proud of you, Ladanian.
Yeah, the money's the real motivation for him.
That's okay.
Hey, that's not a knock.
I'm like, that sounds like a pretty good motivation to me. And I'm sure y'all are liking that. Maybe a little less out of your pockets.
Right. And, if you look at, a few blueprints of his big cousins, I remember another kid that was always big about having his own money and being industrious. And that was Don. And he turned out pretty good. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Don. I'd be thinking, I need to take some loans from Don.
Right.
he doing the thing. He doing it.
Right.
All right, y'all. All right, Chiquita and Thomas. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for being our alarm clock this morning. I needed to get up anyways. But definitely Ladanian. Oh my goodness, that is so good that he's definitely getting that second interview. hopefully he's not like me. You know how back in the day when you had that job, I was happy that I was working at Subway, but I had a mom that took my money and my auntie who had a bingo problem, so she took my money too.
Wow.
Just taking the money from the baby, huh?
So that just brought back memories of my first job.
Damn.
Y'all leaving me with
That's
like
hilarious.
$20.
Oh,
Like that
damn.
was crazy. But hey, they were teaching me that I had to pay where I was staying, I guess.
Don't worry, mom and auntie are not taking his money. He good. He good.
Like I guess Keita, that was one of them hard lessons you just had to experience.
Right, right.
Yeah, and look,
Oh,
it worked.
man.
You never forgot it.
Right.
It worked. It worked. It worked. It really
You
did.
got to
So
pay to stay, baby.
you got
Yeah.
to pay to
Right.
stay. That's
And,
what they told me. But
Mm.
and stay your
um,
ass out that bingo hall.
yeah, she was the bingo lady. But my word of the day, I'll say strength today because I have to find it in me to do my hair before we go out of town. So I'm gonna try to put these locks in. I'm gonna have to find the strength because I got to do my hair instead of paying someone. So just give me the strength today. That's it. That's my word. To
Strength. All
save me
right.
some money.
Where y'all headed, Keita?
We're headed to Vegas. Unfortunately, with all the scare on the news, but my sister is turning 40, so she's doing it up, child. You know how them Virgos do.
Is this a
Everything, girl. We got a party bus, a pool
wow?
party. We got a club we got to go to see Big Sean. Honey, she got a whole list of shebang.
That sounds like fun. I want to come. I want to come and play in Vegas.
Hey, come on. We got a big
Okay.
room with nobody, just me and Thomas. So come on.
All
Yeah.
right, Thomas.
Man, I just couldn't. Ooh, I just couldn't. I just couldn't think of a word, man. I don't know.
Oh,
Excited, elated, elevated, electrified. The Bears are playing today. I'm gonna get to see Justin Fields. I just couldn't think of a word that I wanted to use or that would justify the way I feel. So I'm just gonna say go Bears. I'm gonna go with that.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
football.
I
Go
apologize.
figure.
Football. So Keita, do you want to divorce Thomas every football season?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
it gets on my nerves. But I've grown into it though. Um, I kind of watch football, but I stopped now because that's the only way that I could like relate. If not, it would just irritate me so bad. So I just started watching football myself.
It's
But
funny
I'm
that
not crazy like him though.
it's
You
funny
watch
that
it with me?
I don't watch it with you. No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I don't
she
remember that.
she watched it with her other man. Come on, Thomas, keep up. Go ahead. I thought we discussed this last season.
You right.
Hey, Pooh, long as he ain't a Packers fan, you good.
Yeah. And the Vikings.
Right.
there
Speaking
was
of which, the Defy Life show will be back next week.
Sounds great.
Shameless plug.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But you got to grow to love your partner when it's football season.
I used to for years I would say that every football season I'm just like, oh my God, I'm divorcing you. I want a divorce. You know, we get back together after football season, but it used to be just crazy. I used to allow it to drive me crazy. And we started out, Keita, I used to watch a lot of football while we were dating. The early years of our marriage, I had him teaching me. I had a pretty good handle on the game. You know, watching the game with him. A lot of times it ended up being nap time for me, but it was cool because, you know, he did. I don't know how he felt about me. I was getting ready to say something, but I'm not even going to put words in his mouth. And then after a while, it became one of those things of, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this for just because he enjoys it so much, just, to spend the time with him, to be a part of what he's into, all that stuff that you do. And it just kind of hit me like, I really don't like this. And there are other things that I could be doing, even if it's nothing, right? So
I didn't want to do it from the door, Gina. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah, that was me, trying to be a good girlfriend and again, understanding that it was so much of his time. Like, I'm not gonna fight on this, right? He clearly enjoys this, so I'll just become a part of his thing. And then it's just like, and so now I will watch a football game, or parts of it if I happen to, if I'm in the same room with it, but I don't really make an effort any longer to really go and sit and watch it with him
No,
for
it's just
hours on end like I used to. It just,
it's too much football. Like, it's ridiculous. And then now they have football on every corner of the TV. So
Hello.
every corner, it has developed into like 4 or 5 days out of the week.
I love this. I'm so glad I'm hearing other women talk about this. Like, the way I feel about it. Because I'll be like, nah, son, I'm good. I don't want to do this right now.
I don't want to do it.
What are we doing right now, though?
Right.
This is not a Defy Life show. Y'all know that,
This
right?
is not a Defy Life show. What are we doing right now?
This is not a Defy Life
What are you
podcast.
talking about?
women need to hear this.
This
because
should've-
we may have a-
But when we talk about football, y'all tell us to shut up.
This should have
No,
been.
I'm sorry. No,
This should have been the women's show.
We are not talking about Defy Life. We know that this is not a Defy Life. We're talking about our feelings as married women around an activity that you all spend lots of time doing. It just happens to be sports.
Whatever. Here we go, Steelers.
Guys.
How about them Cowboys?
Right.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Come on.
It's the only game I'm watching.
Jets.
I'm only watching the Steelers. That's it. Like, I am officially a Steelers fan. I think we already went through this on a podcast where I did get to go to Heinz Field and I'm a Steelers fan all day. Okay. That's all I'm watching.
In the famous words of Tony, that's all I ask of you.
Well, Thomas made me a Bears fan.
Did not.
Because he's a Bears crazy person. But
did not make
But then I told myself, I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why am I a Bears fan? Because I'm usually like a Players fan. So
okay.
Never coerce you.
You know
Never.
what? I was like, okay, I can be a Bears fan because I don't want a crazy home. I want it. I'm good with the Bears. But I was like, I want to be a Carolina fan too. So I'm Bears and Carolina.
I never coerced you. I never did that. But hey, Keita used to do crap like playing stuff on Sundays, and I was like, oh, I'm just flat out not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You already got plans.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, go to my mom's and then I'm not doing it. Yeah, we're going. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm here. This is Sunday.
I love that you say it like this, Thomas. It's so great to hear you say it like this. I'm not doing it.
Oh no, I'm just flat out. I don't care who it is or what it is. I'm not doing it. My mother understands. I'm not doing it.
But you've grown to start.
Why you have to add your mama in it? She's not your mama.
On
My
Sunday.
mother understands.
How'd you go?
Football season? Yeah. I do it before 1:00. I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll go swim the Chesapeake and do whatever you want me to do.
He said the Chesapeake.
Just have it down by 1. And so we'll go shopping. Not shopping. What do you call it? Grocery shopping. Grocery shopping. And it'd be like 12:52. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Keita? I know you was gonna do this to me. You love doing this to me. We got to get out of here. Like 12:55, and we still ringing up packages. And I was like, I got to see the kickoff. If I don't see the kickoff, the game is ruined. I got to see the kickoff.
Got to see the kickoff.
Got to see the kickoff.
Testing your love.
Got to see it through, my boy.
She's grown to love it though. She accepts it. I don't know if she loves it. Yeah, I don't know if she loves it.
Right, I was gonna say the love isn't important. We're trying to get to the acceptance.
And I did bend because I used to have to see See, I love to see all the NFL games, but I used to watch college football, but now, like even the Clemson Tigers, I love to see all the Clemson games. But I will do things on Saturday. Like I don't have to. I'll just watch the highlights or catch them on the back end when they play it later that night, like 2 a.m. But I do sacrifice the Clemson games so I could watch Sundays. So I did bend in that factor. So I think that's pretty good.
That's impressive. I'll give you credit. I just want to acknowledge that compromise. That's what's up. I'm sorry.
You're so ridiculous. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I mean, but good, Thomas. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's one of the things that this is all about, right? We got to compromise and figure this mess out. And so it got to the point for us too. Yeah, one of the compromises, it was a time thing, like you too. Thomas, you know, he could do it before, and I don't even think he said 1. I think it was 12.
Hey, that sounds
12.
good.
Probably, hey Thomas, and probably because he was trying to avoid being in the checkout line at 5 minutes to 1, right?
Right.
I'm just gonna tell her 12, and in that way, maybe I'll make it by 1 o'clock every
hour buffer. Yeah, you got an hour buffer.
Yeah.
I get it.
And then some weeks it was, if it was something that had to be done on a Sunday, then I would have to choose. Right. So he would say, okay, well, I'm watching a 4 o'clock game. Like if I got to do, I'm picking. So it's like, okay, Al, is it 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock? And then it would be that kind of thing of, all right, sometimes you got to choose which game, He let go of the Saturday stuff a little bit. I feel like it's coming back around though, But like seriously, I'm like, yo, dude, like football again, But then we got Mondays and then we got Thursdays.
Yeah.
And then we got,
Yeah.
I'm just like, And then the season is literally like 9 months long. I don't care what y'all say.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's
but
our
anyway,
baby. But
that's your baby.
All
yeah.
right.
All right. So I am, it's funny, Keita, because as you were talking about your trip to Las Vegas, are you going by yourself or is Thomas going as well?
No, Thomas is going. Yeah. Yeah, we are all. Ooh, she has like a total of 15 people that'll be there with her celebrating her 40th.
Oh, you taking me? No, I'm
Stop.
just playing. I'm just playing. Yeah.
Well, I was wondering the same thing. That's why I was asking. And Al put himself on mute. He's like, "Yo, that's a segue to the show," and I'm like, "I got you. But it was just funny how you mentioned that trip, and we both questioned, like, okay, is this a solo trip, or is Thomas going, as well? So Thomas, you get to go this time, and I'm glad that you acknowledge it in that way. And you're like, "Oh, you're taking me?" Yeah, because we know that that's not always the case. And we talk about this dance that we play, that we engage in, while we're married, and the compromise is another, example of that, that we just talked about with the whole football, because this dance, is an art, it's a skill, it takes a lot. There's even a little bit of science in there, if you ask me, with a whole lot of ingredients, right? And I mean, everything from, love and compassion to, just everything, and one of those things is compromise. And what does that look like? And so thank you, Thomas and Al, for being able to give us examples of compromise as we work out this whole football thing, right? Because they had to be willing to compromise as well as us in order for that to work. But at the same time, one of the things that came up in that compromise, or the things that you accept, that was a wonderful word that Thomas brought up, because a lot of this is about acceptance, right? Whether you like it or not, it's about, will I accept who this person is and what they're bringing to the table, including the ridiculous activities. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, for real. And so one of those things that come up a lot, I know it's come up a lot for us. And like I said, I think I said last week, we try to talk about things that we know are relevant to the majority of married people, or even just people in relationships, right? And so one of the things that comes up, and it still comes up often, is this idea of, when we go on trips, do they need to always be couple trips, or is it okay for one member of the union to go on a trip by him or herself and leave the spouse at the house? Oh, that was around. Oh, y'all ain't know I had a little bit of
Bars.
MC experience. You know what I'm saying? Throw out a little, throw out some lines every now and then. I have to let y'all listen to me spit one day.
Lord.
You'll be pleasantly surprised.
All
But
right.
anyway, so what y'all think? So we see that at least for this trip, and maybe perhaps because it's a family trip. Chiquita, sister. What's your sister's name? What's her sister's name?
Her name is Quanda.
Yeah, I thought Quanda. So Quanda is celebrating her birthday, and maybe that's why Thomas is being invited. I don't know. What is y'all's rule around trips and whether or not it's okay to go solo? Are there certain trips that you absolutely should not go solo, like maybe a family trip? I don't know. So, crew, we'll start with Thomas and Keita since they brought it up. What's your general rules around, whether or not I have to take you on my trip?
Well, we really haven't like sit down and talk about like what's a rule. But I know when a trip comes up, we'll see people like feelings, because Thomas, he'll be all up in his feelings.
Wow.
But
Wait, JR, I need some more sound effects. This should be the pow wow.
Shots fired.
That's when I noticed that, well, maybe we need to talk about it or just not talk about it and just do whatever. But I do go on girl trips, and Thomas, he always for some reason bring that up when we may be talking about like finances, or he'll buy his shoes or do whatever, because he don't do a lot of guy trips.
I love this right now. Keep going, please. This is great.
So he kind of brings that stuff up, so I can see his feelings in that, and I'm like, well, are you jealous, or is it something that you don't want me to do? Or I feel like he's a little jealous.
Wow.
Because I have friends and we go out, and I have girlfriends that I get together and we, travel or go to each other's house. But definitely with this Vegas trip, I always feel like I want to include Thomas. I always ask him if he wants to go. But Vegas trip, no. My sister, no. She was like, oh no, Thomas hands down is coming, because that's her brother. But I don't know, Thomas, what do you feel about?
Wow.
But I don't care.
Clearly he feels very different than you, because all he can say is
different.
Wow.
Now I will tell you this came up. My sister eventually started going on this a solo trip, meaning that you go on the trip just by yourself to help, just to relieve stress. She was saying how good she felt about it. Like she was scared to go or whatever. So I was like, oh, well, that sounds good or whatever. So I asked Thomas, I was like, well, Thomas, what do you feel about a solo trip? But I was like, really, it's not going to be a solo trip. I have a girlfriend that's going through something, and I'm thinking about just paying for everything and just take me and her and just surprise her. Oh, he did not like that. He did not like that. He was like, really? You taking someone out? And well, what about me? Like, kind of thing. Like, you wouldn't do that for me. I'm like, really?
That's what I said.
We go out all the time.
I don't recall.
Well,
in your own words.
No, I didn't. No.
So I don't know, Peter. I don't know what he said, but going out and taking somebody on a trip, expenses paid, is really not the same thing.
See, that was my thing. See,
I'm gonna have to side with Thomas on this one. That is not the same thing.
Them going somewhere, but when you say, okay, this about to add up to $1,500, but no, what? No. No, this is insane.
But that's just me, though. I feel like if I offer you to come on a trip, I don't want you to spend your money, because that's something I came, like, that's my idea. No. Like, you're gonna spend money on, your food and everything, but I got the hotel.
No, you got 3 kids.
Oh, he didn't like that.
No, not what you said. I know it's about to be about $1,700. That's ridiculous. That I didn't have a problem with them going or anything, but when she said she's taking care of all the expenses, that to me, no, that was far fetched to me. But to get on the points, it's cool with me with Keita going wherever and doing whatever. I'm totally cool with it. I've always been all right with it. I've always supported. Hey, have a good time, because I know she does a lot here, so she has to unwind. And at times I might give her a little flack. The only time I gave her flack is when like she had the baby, she had like Bud or something, and then like the next week she was going somewhere to a concert.
I went to a Fantasia concert. So I just had Erickson.
It's my turn.
I had him like it was like the week after, I think. I just had a baby.
So it's my turn.
He thought I was the worst mother in history.
Did not.
Because someone invited me to go to a Fantasia concert.
Did not. Like prior to that, like 2 days later, she was saying she was in such agony and did this and this and cut my body open and all this. And then like 2 days later, I see you in the mall buying clothes. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, I'm going to this concert. And I was like, yo, you say you feel so bad. How you going to the concert? So that was my thing.
She had to get the freaking dress on. She had to feel better after that baby. Come on, stop.
I mean, but no, I didn't have any flack about her going. It was just she was doing a lot of complaining to me about how bad and horrible she felt.
I got my snapback and I wanted to feel good.
You know what I'm saying? So she was telling me she felt so bad. So I was like, well, if you feel so bad, like I don't get it. But I mean,
2 days prior, she was feeling better.
She was feeling better. I mean, I get it now because it's just said and done. But that's the only problem. I've always supported Keita, and I've never asked to go and do anything, with her, if it was nothing like that, because I know she liked to go and hang out with her, friends and girls and family, and I never tried to play second fiddle to that, because I know, you have those relationships as well. So it always been fine to me.
Okay. Thomas, do you go on trips by yourself or with the fellas, or not so much?
Nah, man, we supposed to be going, man. Me and my guys, man. It was supposed to be going to lame ass Savannah, man. But
and sorry,
man, we ain't going to Savannah, man.
Sorry, Jay, that you on here, but sometimes when we get in a little heated conversation, well, I wouldn't say heated, but I'll be like, well, it ain't my fault. Your friend's lame as hell.
I say the same thing.
Hey, you ain't lying.
I say the same thing, Gina. Don't worry.
But you know why, though? Why it happens like that is because, like I tell Leigh all the time, I don't have the luxury of just going on trips and coming back and saying, oh, I spent all my money on this trip. You got my back. When I come back from a trip, that shit's on me. And when she goes on the trip and splurges, if she she get locked up while she's somewhere, she can call me and I'll be like, okay, I got you. I don't have that luxury. So that's why.
What you trying to say? J.R.? But if you get locked up, that Ladine's gonna leave you in jail?
What? No, when I say locked up, I'm being facetious. But what I'm saying is, if she goes and, if she blows out a tire, or if she goes and spend too much money somewhere, that's just the God honest truth. I don't have the luxury of calling her and being like, hey, I spent all my money. Can you send me more money? I don't have that luxury. So I really have to be like really, really cautious with, going on trips by myself or, going on trips with the fellas, because I know if Leigh and her homegirl get in some money trouble or some kind of, get in a jam, they can call me. But if me and Pooh go out somewhere, we just gonna get laughed at because I don't have that luxury of making that call. That's just the God honest truth.
I think that is
such bullshit. Okay,
I agree.
Whatever. I think that they just don't know how to make plans and keep them, because you could keep the plans and you can, if you plan for it like you plan for everything else, then you'll be all right. I hate that he even does that. Like, how the fuck you gonna put that on me? I'm good. I cannot.
Okay, so for instance, because
Lay.
All right. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead, Thomas.
To this lay, I can come over and give you a huge hug on this because our plans do tumble and tobacco from underneath our feet
Because of y'all.
we do say, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then we might have 1 or 2 or 3 guys to pull out, like, a few days prior to or a month prior to. So it showed us a lot on our friends pulling out. So
yeah, absolutely. Because I said before that, I said, yeah, Chiquita's absolutely right.
Yeah.
We are lame in that sense, but that's not the end of the story, is what I was saying.
Right. Okay.
But for instance, because everybody knows when I make an accusation, I like to give an example. So,
No, we're not doing this.
So you just gonna call me lame as fuck and tell me I'm full of shit, and then tell me we're not doing this? Yes, we're doing this. So, a couple weeks ago, I had like an hour-long conversation with my wife, right, about making 3 trips to New York in a 6-week span, right? She went twice, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my dad." That was her fault, by the way, and she didn't.
Oh, he's really serious. He be going angry on these shows. What's happening?
I'm never able to share.
Go ahead, JR.
Thank you, Gina. So I really had this conversation where, like, look, like, that's a lot of wear and tear on your car. You've been to New York like literally twice in the last month already, and you want to go again just because you miss your friends. Like, you could have, like, we all know, like, when you go somewhere, it's people that say they want to see you, but they ain't willing to come where you at, so you end up having to make 15 trips to see different people.
Yes, Lord.
Right. So I always say, if those people want to see you, they'll come to where you at. If not, they ain't really want to see you. If they ain't understand why you can't make all these trips to come see everybody. So if you didn't see them while you were there on your 2 previous trips, either you really didn't want to see them or they really didn't want to see you. Chalk it up. See them next time. So, I was like, yo, like, I, just put tires on the car, just changed the oil in the car. Like, really, like, this shit's starting to add up. And the only reason I'd really agree to this trip is if you make a special trip to see your dad because he's sick. Even though you could have done that on the last trip. I got you.
Yo, he's really doing his dirty right now.
Am I lying? No, but I'm trying to make a point here.
Finish, JR. Just finish.
Yeah, I'm never able to share. But anyway, so she says, "Oh, okay, I get it." She goes on the trips, gone for a week, spends 2 more days she was supposed to spend while she was there, but she comes back, never even went to see her dad. Like, we never had this conversation. So this is what I mean when I say I'm not afforded that luxury, because, like, I told her before she went, like, you can do whatever you want to, put all kind of wear and tear on this car if you want to. If you want to start paying the insurance, pay for tires, do all this shit, but you don't have to think about that shit because all that shit is taken care of. Like, and so even the day she came back, what I get in the mail? Registration. I got to pay another $300 for the tag for next year. But she don't have to think about that stuff because she can just go. Just put gas in that bitch and go, like my father would say. So I'm not afforded that luxury. So what I'm saying is, even though we've had that conversation, the rules never seem to apply both ways. They just don't.
Okay.
So I think.
Go ahead, Al. Please say something.
So I think, as I'm listening to all of us, there's a definite reality that for, like, these trips or these expenditures, it provides value in our lives, right? We all know this is why we do it. And I definitely have appreciated it. Shout out to all of those in regards to the football, to our wives who give us space to indulge, to restore, to use the word I said earlier. Because I think whether it's football, whether it's traveling, it does restore us and give us energy, right? So I appreciate those who recognize that, ultimately I'm helping out my other by allowing him or her to do this. Whether I enjoy it or not, Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
We do got to recognize that this is what it's offering our partner.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other question is, when is too much too much? And whatever we're talking about, and how do we, one, as the other, pull back? Because we talked about how whether it's not doing trips, whether it's giving up college football or high school football or middle school football, because all of it's football to me. So whether I'm watching it, whether I'm playing it, whether I'm coaching it, I love that shit. So shout out to our sons who've given us opportunities to get more football, right? I love that shit too. So shout out to them. But I think it's a lot of layers to this shit. And to me, when it comes to hanging out, this has been a journey for me and my wife for a long time. We've been battling that issue since we were dating, because I love spending time with my homeboys. I love spending time with my friends. I loved hanging out in the clubs. All that shit restored me. And sometimes she would join me, and sometimes she would be like, "Again, motherfucker? Like, come on, son. What? Go away." And I appreciate the movement she's made to like give less flack when I am trying to do what I do. Realize that it plays value in my life, her life, all our lives, and try to do it herself. Like I give her credit to where she has phases where she's doing girl trips or hanging out with her girls or brunches and taking the time for herself, that I feel like we got to always protect. That's how I feel as a partner. Like, I will always protect my right to restore myself. And I've come into this mug and I'm going out that way, because I will be an advocate for doing that in your life. But I've learned that sometimes too much is too much. And that's the balance that we talk about in this marriage thing, because it is it's hard to watch, even because I'm trying to think, has it ever been too much where it's like, yeah, I think it has been too much, and you got to pull it back, like, come on, Gina, or come on, Al. It's definitely, we've had that phases, but it's like anything, you get addicted to that shit. That's what I think it is. I really think it's feeling good can be addictive, and sometimes you need that. And I'm a shut.
I agree with most of what you said, but I think that JR has brought up a very something very important, right? Like the dimensions of this thing. And so a lot of times, hold on, Al, can you hear me? A lot of times, we like to look at things like, one dimensionally, right? And we often will oversimplify something. But this is just another example of like how it's all complicated, right? Because the original intention around the question was around really time, respect, security, insecurity, like all those things that come up in that way around, what people think about first as you talk about like going on trips by yourself or doing trips and all that. But JR is really bringing up another instance, and Albert meant throughout the word of balance, right? Because what I hear JR talking about is that financial piece,
Right.
right? And so it's not really about the other stuff. It's, hey, we got to consider, well, at least JR feels like he has to consider the financial piece of it, and says that Ladine does not. She has the luxury of not doing that. But my point is like, it's
I
just
still have
all this
not got to
stuff.
speak, so you do not talk to me right now, right, Gina? This is not funny.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm trying to give you a little more time to get your thoughts together and bring those emotions back in and all that. So hopefully you don't come out here like screaming and cussing and shit when it's your turn to talk. But I'm just saying, I'm giving you a little bit of space, right? But yeah, like real talk though, Ladine, it is that, you know, um,
is multidimensional, and at all times, like, if you're going to do this thing in a sustainable way, it's like all these things that you have to think about. That, and to JR's point, I don't know about this because I'm really was calling bullshit. I'm screaming bullshit in my head a lot to some of the stuff that you were saying, JR, but I don't know you all's finances, and so I don't know if Ladine has to consider it or not, or if she should have to, or like, well, I'm not stepping into that at all. But this is still about planning and budgeting, and I was calling bullshit in my head because it was just sounding like excuses to me. And while I get that you think that there are reasons, I'm just giving my perspective, in that those are things that you can plan for, that you can mitigate, that you can make some rules around, that you can, you know what I'm saying? That's not a thing that has to be the reason that you don't take any boys' trips, especially if your version of the story is accurate and true, and Ladine gets to take 15 trips a year and you don't get to take any. Like, that would be fucked up if that's what's happening. But if that's what y'all do, that's what y'all do. But yeah, it's just everything. You can't take stuff at face value, and there's just so many other things to consider when you're making these kinds of decisions or figuring out how you all are going to coexist. Go,
Yeah.
Ladine.
And well, to that, and I do agree, Gina. Like, you do allow. Well, I can only speak for myself. I do allow like tendencies to become barriers in a sense when they come up. So then, and that's human nature. But she do get to take 15 trips, and I don't get none. But yeah, go ahead.
So, Ladine, why do you think it's okay for you to take 15 trips while your husband sits at home?
First of all, this is some bullshit.
Great question. Great question.
This is some bullshit because I don't take no fucking 15 trips. I wish I took 15 trips a fucking year. All right. And I wish I got to see my family more than I see them, and my people more than I see them, and I don't. So yes, when I get the opportunity to go, I'm out. When smoking buying, I'm not. So yes, this year I did go twice and probably 3 times within a 6-month period or a 4-month period. And you be shouting me out, Jay. See, this is what you can't do, husbands. You can't be making the wife look like shit on a show, right? And y'all be doing us dirty sometimes. So telling that I didn't go see my father.
She lying. She's stubborn.
Hold on. When you travel and all of my people are in New York, it's so I really do like run myself thin trying to see so many people, and there's just a time and a place for certain things. So that's all that is. And then let me see. So I don't mind if JR goes on trips. I would love for him to go with his boys. Go, do you? JR's family is all very close to us. Everyone's usually within a 3-hour trip. So he could take plenty of trips to Columbia or any, to North Carolina. His sister's right here. Most of the time, a lot of the family comes here. And that's how it was for us when we were in Atlanta. My sister was there, and a lot of my family came to see us down there. So it was a little easier. So here it's a lot easier for him to be able to see his family too. And so he gets to see all year round his people way more than I get to see mine. So yeah, I got to travel, and it might cost a little more for me to go and see my people, but I'm not stopping to see my people, and I'm not stopping my plans because he doesn't choose to make his friend trips. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever I got to do to make my trips. And that's really about it. But I don't mind if he goes by himself. I'm going on trips by myself. If that was a problem, I don't know if we could do this because I'm going. But let me see. Other than that, yeah, no, that's all I really got for it. But I get the whole needing to plan, and I understand the finances, and I understand the budget, and sometimes you gotta fucking what is it? Throw it in the fucking bucket. What does it say? I don't know what that saying is, but sometimes you gotta say fuck it and you gotta go. And there are so many things that I've missed because we didn't have the money, just with younger kids, and we're gonna go back to that daycare expense, y'all. But no, there are so many things that I have missed over the years and I haven't been able to show up to, and it does drive me crazy when I get, as I see the people in my family, the kids, everyone's just growing and time is passing us by. So I do think it's important to take time to see the family and to spend a little money or to see the people, because it's worth it. To me, it's worth it. Those, like I was saying, those are the times that are worth it. And those are the memories you make, and that's what makes you feel good. And I need it. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could slide this registration into the fuck it bucket.
Such a dick, yo. I cannot.
They wouldn't accept it. I tried to call them and say, I'm going to put this in the fuck it bucket. And they was like, nah, sir, you can't do that. So I got to deal with it.
Oh, my God. So, Al, and this might be, I just want to make this distinction because it could be the same for some and not the same for others. So would you let me take a solo trip? Like, I don't mean like to go see friends or to go with friends or family or like, well, not let me. Would you have a problem with? Like I just, decide, because there are people who just like for the weekend, I'm just going up to the mountains like by myself, and that's just what I want to do. So, Al, how do you feel about that?
So, great question again. I think that, well, shout out to two of our favorite listeners, the Coopers, because I told them there's going to be the topic of our podcast, and they didn't believe us. I love them Coopers, because honestly, they have been a couple that, they said travel and them doing solo trips has been something they've been doing for a minute. So that came to mind when you asked me that question.
Well, that's so much Dawn. Chris, absolutely. Dawn gets hers in because she travels for work.
Okay.
I don't know if she didn't travel for work, if solo trips for her would be a thing.
And they were clear that it works for them, right? It has been for a minute. So I think I would like to say that I would not have a problem and could see the good in it, be in a space of trust and respect, and say in a space of treat people the way you want to be treated, because I would want that. I don't remember, besides going to see family, I think those count as solo trips where it's I'm going to, and not that you're not invited, but not that you're not welcome, but you definitely weren't invited. Like I'm just going up to see my uncles type thing, and it's like, I think those are the same types of trips where you might say, I want to go in the mountains. So I hope I would be in a space of, yeah, go ahead, enjoy. See you when you get back. Travel safe, all of that. Because whatever that thing is, whether it's travel, church, football, shopping, concerts, if it's, I think as long as it's within limits and it's understandable, for me, I would like to say I could rock with it.
That's good to know, because they're coming.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. But, there's always the caveat, and that how does it affect? No. I mean, I think this is what we've discussed. There's not I don't think there's ever going to be a space where I'm like, whatever you want to do, I'm always going to be good for that. I think it has to be still always put up against or within the context of, is this what's best for our marriage at all times? And if at whatever point it's not, then if I think it's not, then I'm going to say so. I just think that's we all get, that's always understood in how we're doing this. Like, if it was I'm hanging out in the clubs till 8 o'clock in the morning, I would hope you would be like, yo, son, really? No, this is not working for me. I don't mind you hanging out with your boys, and that's cool, but you back to hanging out in the clubs, dog? Nah, kid, back up. So I think we always gonna have that right as lovers, as marriage people, to be like, that's some bullshit, and I'm calling you on it.
What say y'all? Is there a different rule or expectation for you all as it relates to your spouse going away completely alone? No family, no friends, just
I wouldn't think so.
I'm going to Jamaica for a weekend, hang out on the beach.
I mean, again, like Al said earlier, or like you said earlier, Gina, I think there's a balance, and there's intricacies, around everything. But I would actually encourage it, in the sense that, especially like in our case, like my wife and I are just wired differently, and I know in order for her to get away, she actually has to get away and clear her head. Like, I'm not wired that way. I can get away and like just sitting here in a room full of people. So I have to understand that sometimes in order for her to get away, she actually has to get away. So I would encourage it, but then, I mean, there is a balance to it, and again, there is the financial piece, there's the family as a whole, the unit piece. There's a forecasting piece of what are we going to do, in the future. We have other stuff coming up, like, so there's a lot of things that go into it, but on the base of it, I would encourage it, just because I know how my wife reacts when she's not able to clear her head and she's not able to get away. It's just how she's wired. So I would encourage it.
Remember this, people. I need you all.
See, so again, she wants to be a jackass right now, but like we've had this conversation, and I asked her what she wants to do for her birthday. She said she wants to go away without me, and I was like, fine, do that. I'm checking now because I know this has happened in the past, that if your plans fall through, don't look at me to come save the day. Plan your shit and make it happen. So I've encouraged it.
What is happening right now?
Ladine, where you going for your birthday? We got to talk about that offline.
What is happening right now?
Thomas and Kita, is there a difference for you in the whole solo piece, or everything you said still stands?
Everything still stands for me. It's something that we're still, like, we haven't really did anything solo yet. I mean, if I'm just solo, I'm talking about solo like by myself going somewhere only. Just me. Not with my friends, because I always go with my friends. But I'm thinking now I need to involve as a woman and as a wife, as a mother, that I need to get out there, because a lot of women I see are doing solo trips. So that's something that we'll eventually see how he do. But I know he'll get jealous, and his anxiety will come on me, and he'll think of all kind of things for me not to go. But we'll see how it plays out.
I mean, I'll be fine, for the sake of, okay, this is what she wants to do to clear her head. Well, I do have bad anxiety, so I would be like worried about her safety, but not in retrospect her doing anything, but just about her safety, because that's how I'm constructed. But yeah, I'll be totally fine with it. And so, like, when I go out, or used to go out, and when I didn't have all the games at my fingertips, and I might go to a bar and watch the NFL for the entire day, or college football. To me, those were like mini trips to me, because that's how I recharged myself and got rejuvenated, because it was like my mind was at a totally different place, and I was in my safe haven. So I guess trips were different to me at that point, but now that I'm a tad bit older, I do see the serenity of being in a totally different, place, and it does feel great. So I wouldn't mind. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it as well.
So just a takeaway for those who's listening. It is a role of protecting and providing that often motivates us as husbands. And
Right.
that's just part of how we're wired.
Right.
Whatever the issue is, that's always something that's on our mind of, that's what we do. And that affects how we respond, approach damn near everything.
Right, and that's how we're reared in a sense. And Chris Rock has this great line that there are only three things in this world that are loved unconditionally, and that's women, children, and dogs. Men are not, because if we can't provide and we can't protect, we're not loved. And that's true in a sense that that's our role. And if people tend to look at a man funny if he can't provide and he can't protect you. So you're absolutely right.
Was that list again, JR?
Women, children, and dogs are the only things that are loved unconditionally.
That's interesting and unfortunate.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And probably true.
So, well, I don't know about that. So we've been throwing around the word balance a lot, and that's kind of so much that's critical in this conversation. And so Al talked about how he used to hang out with his boys and club and all of that. And there was a time in our marriage that I had a real problem with it. Not in and of itself, but it was the frequency, the amount of time when going. It just felt like a lot. And for me, like a lot of other things, right? Which even can be a part of this conversation with Ladine and JR around that, and even Keita in her trips, the frequency of the trips or whatever. So many of our issues, like I feel like when it comes to about time and activities, and it's because there's no balance, right? And so for me back then, when it was such a huge issue, it was because like there wasn't a balance for me. Like it felt like your love for all these things that you were doing were superseding, or was superseding the love for me, right? And so if your time spent is like a 70-30 balance of your out of the house activities to, spending time with me or the family, then that's when it became a problem. Even as I listened to some of the comments that was here tonight, it's about, this morning, if there was a little more balance, it might make the situations or the occurrences a little easier to deal with or whatever. And so it's about how much is too much, right? How much football is too much football? How much getting to the club, hanging out with your boys, spending time with your girls, whether it's on a trip or not, like how much is too much, and how as a couple do you come to the agreement or at least a place of, I don't know, that you both can accept or tolerate. In terms of the amount of trips that you have, the amount of time that you spend with your boys, your girls, your family, even, because that has come up for Al and I too in the past, again, around this concept of balance. And while we like to quantify balance, right, it's really a perceptual thing. And if 70-30 feels good to you, then that's fine. But, the issues come up when that 70-30 doesn't feel good. So how do you get to that place where everybody is okay with what's happening? Let's start with Thomas and Keita. Oh, wait, stop. Let me pull that back. Wait, Al was ready. He looked a little disappointed when I didn't say, let's start with Al. Okay.
I was just ready to jump in, but
go ahead. You ready? That's the thing
just,
about, like, y'all, we really got to talk about this video thing because it would be It's just a layer added when I can see people's faces.
Somebody
Somebody
else
else
might
might
have
have been
been
ready,
ready,
Al.
Well, I'm gonna jump in this.
Go ahead. Go for
So
it.
I think that there's no exact line what is too much. So I think it's more like a space of what is too much, right? Because I really think that space is defined by how much bothers your other. Like, so when does it become a problem for them? That's where it starts, and then it ends with how much am I willing to give up of my personal happiness? And so I think that's the tug of war of, yes, this is something that I enjoy doing and it brings me happiness, but it also is causing a problem for the other. Now, where is that, line? There's no line. It's just at some point you just give some of it up, and it goes from 70-30 to sometimes 50-50, sometimes 60-40, and it just kind of fluctuates because I think the other sometimes is willing to tolerate more on some days and not the other, where they're like, you know what, it's okay. I can fall back. And then sometimes maybe because I had a rough day or I'm in a rough space of time that I'm like, nah, I ain't giving that up. I want that attention now. So, I need you to be different. So I think it's always just a dance. That we say this a lot, but I think this is one of them issues where it's always going to be a give and take.
And I think a give and take, but also having an open mind, right? Because I think one of the things that came up as Al was talking, I just think that sometimes we are stuck in those things that we say that we love to do, right? And so as if that's the only way that you can be restored. So I get that you love football, right? But that does not mean that if you walked away or let me not even say walk away from the game, right? If you put your energy into something else that you might like to do with your wife or with your family, that could be a restoring activity as well. It's just this, how we just like it's, either or is this binary, it's black and white. There's lots of gray areas and there's other things that you can do outside of your typical hobbies that also are restorative and bring you joy and create community and, stronger bonds with your family and your wife and all of that. So just to be like, I got to give up what I like to do, it feels a little inaccurate to me, right? Because it's not a giving up, it's doing something else that you also like to do. Thomas and Keita.
Yes, we're here. Gina, can you repeat your question? We got distracted by our surroundings. Sorry.
That's cool. Yeah, it's just around the idea of how much is too much to spend time with others. How much is too much? That's a general question. And how do you, as a couple, come to an understanding of what that looks like for each of you? So if you took 10 trips with your girls this year, Keita, like, is that too much?
Yeah,
and if Thomas feels that that's too much, then what? So it's just that, it's just that idea around what is too much.
Like, what is too much? It's only, to me, it's only too much if you and your partner, don't do anything or don't go anywhere or travel with each other. I feel like that you as a couple should definitely go travel, spend time with each other, and that's something that me and Thomas try to do. When we started dating and like when our first beginning of our marriage, like that's our thing. We was like, no, we're gonna go hang out, date, like all that stuff. Like now it's kind of changed as our family have gotten bigger. We don't date as much. We really don't even call it date. We just kind of like, you want to go to this place right quick, kind of just clear our head type of thing. But we should put more of a stamp on it and just call it like dating so it can feel a little different. But I feel like it's never too much when it comes. Well, I'm not going to say that. It can be too much. It can be too much with your girlfriends if you're not doing anything with your partner at home. Because that happens where your partner at home is not doing anything and you guys are not traveling. The marriage is like totally messed up and all you're doing is having a good time and being with your friends. But I feel like women should also look at their finances. If it's something that's hurting their finances, then yes, don't do it. But if you have your money and you guys are paying your bills and you're comfortable, then I don't see that it's a problem because life is too short. So I'm kind of on the fence of it's not too much, but then it could be. So I want to see the world, though. I mean, that's just my personality. Thomas doesn't want to see the world as much as I want to.
Wow.
So I feel like I need to take as many trips. Like I've shortened myself a little bit when it comes to trips because I'm a trip person. So.
Wow.
I feel like
Continues to
Thomas
put
and
words in my mouth.
like Thomas and Keita, y'all might need to stop trying to talk to each other because y'all don't ever the other one talking, the other one is wow. That's both of y'all. Then the other one talking, really? That's what I'm like. Okay, so just talk for yourself and let your other one talk for him or herself.
Because y'all ain't on the same page. You know what? You gonna always get that with Thomas. He always wanna do better than me.
No.
He always, if I come up with a good saying, he wants to say something a little better than what I had. If I come up with a nice outfit, his outfit gotta be better. So it's always competition with this man.
No,
It's not like we're not on the same page. It's just funny. So
no, it's just like, I mean, you're speaking for me,
I'm not speaking
You
for
said
you.
Thomas.
I'm just
What did you just say? Thomas, I don't forgot. All I can
You
remember.
don't want to see the world, dog.
Oh yeah, you don't want to travel the world. Thomas don't want to travel the world. Like when did I say that?
You've said that before because you don't like
I said, you know what, Keith? I don't want to travel the world. Stop. I don't want to do the shit. That's
That's what came out your mouth.
I'm just going by your action.
No.
Oh my God, I love this right now.
But that's Keita,
But to answer the question, it's never too much, but then it can be depending on your finances.
Look, I mean, the shit's always too much. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I'm just kidding. No, but like Keita said and Al said, I guess different circumstances. Always a dance and a tug of war, and I suppose it's up to the two to realize and manage to see what's what and what's not. And I do totally agree that sometimes we really have to as guys just do it because things may not be everything that we're making it out to be. Because I know I always look at I may look at the finances and I may look at, hey, this could happen or that could happen. But, and I really need to take Keita's approach sometime and be like, hey man, just do it. This for me. And I really need this. And you know what? Shit, you don't even know if you're going to be around next month or next year. So you really need to experience different things. So, and I really need to develop, somewhat of that approach as well. And I think we do. So I just think we need to travel a little more and do more things, to experience different things. So like I say, I guess it's up to the two to manage, but it's not as, I don't think it's as much as sometimes we as men make it out to be. Sometimes we just, and it's not in our, I don't think it's not in our makeup just to do it because we always looking at the different factors, and we probably need to adapt that, more from the women and do it.
sounds like I need to plan one big ass man's trip.
For sure.
I think that
Hey,
that's what I'm hearing.
for sure.
Let me help my
I
co-host
was going to
out.
say, they need some help.
Let me help y'all. I got y'all.
Hey, because truth be told, me and Jay was just talking that this year and a few months ago. Me and Jay was like, man, look, the hell with it. We just got to do it. Like we just got to tell them guys, like, this is what we got to do. And so that's the moniker of, let's say I'm listening to Keita, and Keita is finally sinking in. Look, man, y'all need to do something. And Lays and Jay other ear, like, yo, y'all need to do something. Like, your friends Lane, you need to pull them out. So that's us kind of like taking on, their moniker, like, you know what, we really need to do something. And then Jay was like, "Pooh, the hell with it, we're gonna do something." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, Jay. The hell with it, we're gonna do something." So, bottom line, we're gonna do something.
Sound like we gotta do something.
Right. And if it ain't one of y'all pulling out, or even if it is, sometimes you go with who you got.
You go with who you got. There you go. And
Go
see,
with who you got.
and that's funny because that's what we are, right, Jay? We were like, you know what?
Right, because that's where we've been for the last 20 years. Is it was 5 of us really that we just like where there's never been all of us in the room at the same time, and it's always been whoever we got be there. So we kind of put a fuck what you said, be there this one, and so everybody can be in the same room. So that's what we are now. So we got it planned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody don't show up, we showing up at their house to kidnap their ass, and we coming in and they going. So it's just that simple.
Or
and
not.
Maybe we just need to pull Al in too, Jay.
Pull Al in too. Right.
Yeah, Al need to do something. Yeah.
Now, see, don't be going
messing
in
up
Gina
Al.
house.
You right. I apologize.
No. This is a freebie.
Let Gina deal with this.
It's a freebie.
She ain't said nothing.
It's a freebie. This one don't even count as I'm doing it for y'all. This is not one of my trips.
Oh, that's
this
funny.
don't go down on my ledger. This
That's
is a freebie.
funny.
I'm doing this for y'all.
We get one of those trips. I ain't know about that category.
Hey,
Al, for my boys.
Crazy. Not on my ledger. Hey,
Nah, not on my ledger. Whoa. That don't count for me. You know how we be doing, like, no, wait a minute. You went that time, you went that time, you went that. That one didn't count. That one didn't count. Chill.
No, that's a good one.
You went to support. That's
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So in that case, Keita get her trip that she offered to take the Pullman on the trip, all expenses paid. That's a trip. That's a trip in support.
Whoa.
She
I
should
didn't
be
say I
able
was
to
paying for Thomas. I didn't say I was paying for JR.
There y'all go forgetting the finances again.
There we go.
Keita, I tried. I knew it wasn't gonna fly. But I tried.
I'm a free spirit though. I really am. I'm a free spirit.
Hey,
and
you paying for people's trips? Ain't shit free about your spirit.
Hey, that was.
With money, I always look at it this way. Every year you look at money, but you eventually have it, and God got you covered. So money is never a problem. I feel that way. It's gonna come.
That was definitely not gonna fly with me. Like, I got everything to plan. I was like, are you crazy? You're not doing that.
I would do it for you.
We're married. Are you serious?
JR and Ladine, did y'all want to chime in? Anything did you want to say about the solo question, or y'all are good? I just want to make sure that I, give y'all an opportunity to talk.
I thought the question was the too much. I thought this last week.
I'm sorry. You're right. Too much. You're right.
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh,
so what's the question again, Gina? It was when is too much? When is it too much?
Yeah, with your girlfriends and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so I'm laughing because this is definitely a conversation that we have often, and it's I don't probably not too often, but whenever it does come up, because there are times where he might feel like I might be going outside too much. Well, let's say with my girlfriends that live here. But he doesn't really bitch or complain about it. But he'll mention something if he feels, let's say, if I was out too late, or if like, okay, so you was there this week and you was there this past. He really doesn't. Jay don't be on me like that, but when he don't like something, he will be on me, and it's annoying. But I personally don't think that it's too much, because I need to, oh God, how can I say this? Okay, so I need to be stimulated a little differently than the way JR needs to be stimulated. And there's a different kind of energy that I look for, that I get from my girlfriends, from hanging out with people, that JR doesn't get that same thing. Like, I could stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning playing spades. JR's not doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're around family and everybody's loud and crazy and playing games, I'm with the family. I'm loud and I'm crazy and I'm playing games. And that's not JR. So he's very calm, and that's just his demeanor, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all okay, but I am different, and so I need sometimes a little loud, a little crazy people in my life, and he doesn't always like it. He don't bitch about it, but he definitely doesn't do it. So I do think that, and that's why for me, those solo and I know the solo trips was different from solo trips was you by yourself, right? Let's say just trips by myself to go see family and people and shit. Like, I definitely need that, because I'm not in the same space and time that he's in. And so I need to be able to do my thing with my people, because he's not going to enjoy himself. So we don't really go out together a lot, because other than with family, because we don't have like the same ideas of what fun might be. But I do like when we do go out and experience new things with each other, or things that we haven't experienced with each other, because I want to be able to experience those things with him. But we don't do a lot of hanging out together. Like, I see a lot of couples hangouts, like y'all hang out together. I see Gina now hang out together. I see Keita and Pooh hang out together when we're with people, whatever. But me and Jay really don't do that. It's different. It's just different.
We don't have the same type of friends, is what she's saying. So.
Well, no, that and that. So that is included,
Yeah.
but that's not the only thing.
Well, no, I'm trying not like. Like, so I mean, there are other things involved as well. So
Jay,
I mean,
you cut out. We didn't hear it. We didn't hear what you said.
Oh yeah, I was saying that like I said, like we do a lot of things. We hang out together. It's things that are new, because just how we're wired differently. A lot of the things that we consider fun are completely different, or a lot of things that we do, or a lot of the types of people that we're around are completely different. So our mutual friends generally are family. And like when she says I'm not on her, I'm never on her. And I don't know if you consider me like voicing my, like, anytime I'm not happy with something, if I'm not voicing that as being on you, then I'm sorry. I just have to be on you. But you're gonna get my feelings, B. But like that. I'm just just the types of people that we consider enjoyable usually are completely different, and the types of situations are completely different. Therefore, which is why I say I encourage like solo trips, because we're wired differently in that way in order to be like rejuvenated in a sense.
And I think that is just going to be a consistent question when it comes to this issue for all, is that if it's something that the other person, enjoys, and you might do it for a while because you're doing it for, to be with that person, but, to Gina's point about football, when she comes to that realization of I really don't enjoy it like that. Why am I doing this? Just, you know what, go on, you can have this. And, are you willing to, when you pull back, still be able to see that this is bringing that other person fulfillment, joy, whatever that is, enough to be like, yo, I want that for my other.
All right. Yeah, and it's funny because like I don't watch as near as much football as I used to. I watch Steelers games, and since I've come to like the realization that I'm more of a Steelers fan than I am a football fan, so I don't have to watch other games. But my wife will tell you, and proudly so, that she doesn't compromise. She doesn't know how to compromise, and she won't compromise. So that becomes an issue through whether it's that or other things. Yeah, she doesn't share. She doesn't compromise. And for somebody, let me finish. So for somebody who does,
that sounds like a whole nother show, though.
All right. So, but it can be. But for somebody who doesn't,
we don't want to get deep into that.
No, I'm not getting deep. But what I'm saying is, so for someone who doesn't share and doesn't compromise, it's hard to have them see the compromise within the situation. You get what I'm saying? So that becomes the issue of the issue. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get to the root of something if you can't even get to that part of it. So to say how much is too much or how much is enough is difficult sometimes when you're not dealing with someone who can't compromise. That's what I'm saying.
I got you. And I think that that the guys typically, and it's funny because you know how you know something and then you're just kind of reminded, so this conversation has reminded me that you all, at least the men on this call, have that or feel that extra responsibility of that financial piece. That's real, right? And we live by that as well. Jay mentioned it earlier of, Al's role being the provider and protector, largely. And so it's there, right? It's a thing for some men. And so thank you, Jay. You were the first one, I think, to bring it up, like that idea of real or perceived, right? It doesn't matter often. Which it is, but you all feel that, and I appreciate and honor y'all for that, really. And Al, like real talk, he holds it down, and I love and appreciate him for that always. And so, but it is that thing of, you all. I think it's important. I'll do it that way. I think it's important for couples to recognize that, and then to also recognize that the men need these breaks that we're talking about too, right? So over the years, it's been a lot of trips that if it were not for me, Al wouldn't go on, right? Because he pulls back. No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do it. This trip, it's too much. Like whatever the reasons are. And it's go. Please go. There are times when I even on the back end with his homeboys, like, you know what? Buy his ticket. I'll send you the money, right? So that if he has the ticket, then I know that he can't back out kind of situation. That was before Southwest was around and they had the, no fee for changing your flights and stuff. You kind of bought a ticket and you were stuck. But Al sometimes will prioritize others too often, in my opinion, prioritize other things and then is sacrificing himself or, for those things. And so while it's necessary, especially in situations where us females forget to do that, or it's just not at the forefront of our mind, like that's important. But at the same time, it's really not like everybody has to take responsibility for that and to make it happen. And Al, you remember this, there was a time where we, in our attempt to be fair and still getting what we want, and we were financially strapped or had to be, I mean, hell, we still got to watch our pennies, but, there was a period where it was that much more detrimental. But anyway, we would do over the year, we would try to get in a family trip. Each of us had an individual trip that we could go on, like with your girl, like however you want to do it. And then a couples trip. So that we try to cover, like, all the bases, the family, us as a unit, as a couple, and then the individual trips. And we did that for a few years, I feel like. And then it fell off. And so now we are less intentional about making sure that it's balanced. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it does not. I probably still go away, I would guess, a little more than Al. I don't know. But anyway, just something to offer up, because, when that balance is not felt, it's very easy for resentment to sneak in, regardless of the reasons why one isn't going. If you feel shorted, like, it's never going to be a good thing. So encourage you all to think about it. I encourage you, Thomas and JR, get that trip in, whether it's together, whether it's the three of y'all, like whatever. It just doesn't even matter. Like, just make it a goal before the year ends for y'all to get away and just enjoy yourselves, free of the women. Any women, that is, not just your wives. I'm just saying.
It's happening.
Glad to hear it. Al, and I guess, I don't know if you need to be a part of this or not to make sure that they get it going. I don't know, but you guys,
well, that's two separate. That's two, but there is a trip. We've been talking about this for a while too. Is the host of Defy Life need to take a trip too? So we'll get that done.
Was that too many trips or?
That's two. No, I said that's 2 trips, not too many. That's 2.
I'm saying that might be too many.
Nah, that's
trips.
2 trips.
I love you, Gina.
You put words in Pooh mouth, not mine. You add many all to my sentences. I ain't saying nothing about that. I'm sure y'all let us know if it's too many though.
As you should. All right, y'all. I think that it's about time to wrap it up. We've had very interesting conversation. I think the words of this day, is balance, compromise, and restore. Y'all get it all in. All 3 of those things are important, probably equally so. But figure out how to fit it into you all's marriage, your situation. And remember, everybody needs a break sometime. So on that note, we'll say have a great day, y'all. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel.
Peace.
Peace.
One eye.